Another shot is coming raw and unbounded. The whiskey's always talking and the beer's overflowing. Another shot is gonna hit you with a mind overloading on it. The bar is always open with no inhibitions. Another shot will leave your sensories twitching. Remember, everything we say is just our opinion. But then again, it might be the alcohol talking. It might be the alcohol talking. Let's go.
Welcome to another Shot Podcast, where our opinions might be real, or it could just be the liquor talking. Sit back and enjoy another shot.
What's going on? What's going on, guys? Welcome to our Monday night bartender. I apologize for the tardiness of tonight, but we kind of went down a wormhole a little bit here, and
your fault.
The
Totally your fault.
I just showed you the opening. You're the one that jumped in. So tonight started off a little bit crazy for me. You know, I came back, and of course, I've tried to show her a million times and I'm always thinking about her as well. So I thought, since the bathroom doesn't, work out here right now because of the 6 feet of snow we got surrounding the studio, I thought, why not? Long time no see. What's going on, gorgeous? Cool.
Does that work?
Let's give it a try. See what happens. So I thought, why not, since she's got to go inside and not trudge through the snow, I'll get out there, be nice, get the ice up off the sidewalk for, the walkway. And that way, especially with it being dark, I'd hate for her to slip and fall. Of course, falling on her ass would hurt the least. I love you, gorgeous. I really do. Do not pout. I'm sorry. I had to, just for the fun of it. No, she's actually been putting in the Lord's work. So I got out here. Holy shit, what are you doing? Now you got me watching on the screen to see if the Zoom really goes nuts here. It does. Quiet. I'm going to pour water on the sidewalk.
Extreme close-up.
But anyways, yeah, I got out here a little late, and last second I kind of threw an idea at her, and we ran with it, honestly, and both of us kind of went down
a very long memory lane.
Oh, geez, oh man. We're kind of going off a little bit of last night too, and keeping up with things, and we're trying to find ways to make this a little more fun, whimsical, and one of the things we've talked about before is back in the day. Now, we had an idea. That idea went out the window 30 minutes ago. We were going to do a little bit of comparing and contrasting, but fuck all that, I guess.
I just had way too much fun.
But what is a Monday night bartender night without?
A drink.
So,
The bartender has to have a drink tonight because we don't have any patrons.
yeah. My boy's, Hooper, he's sick. Hopefully you feel better soon, brother. Chris, we don't know where he's at. So let's yeah. Take that as you'd like. Let's go ahead and shall we go to the Bible for this one? We haven't done this in a while. Just say stop.
Stop.
You end up doing that. I've noticed. Okay, so Fun Apple, Calvados. I don't even know what Calvados is.
I pick a page. He doesn't have a clue of what it is.
I have no idea what Calvados is. I'm sure it's going to be back here somewhere. Here, we'll go the other way with it. Ready?
Stop.
Rum drinks. Light rum, lime juice, dry vermouth, brandy, and gin.
That seems to be a bit much.
How about we go the Robinson Crusoe? I think light rum, pineapple juice, garnish it with a Benny pie. It's about as simple as it gets right there.
Sounds better.
I like
Less alcohol's the better.
So we'll set this bad boy off to the side for right now. Let's go ahead and get this. All right, so it says light. When I think of light,
Like what?
it says light rum. I don't think they mean white rum. And are we really that low on the rum? Beautiful. Jeez, oh man, we are like really.
It's just all hiding.
Oh, yeah, it is. Literally. I'll tell you what, just for the fun of it, we're going to do, I'm not even going to do this. Fuck that.
Okay then.
We're going to keep it simple.
Simple.
Simple's always good, right? You like simple.
Yeah.
They like me at
Simple is
work when
better.
things are simple.
Simple is better.
So let's go ahead and add a little bit of ice. And throughout the night, if you guys have a drink idea, feel free to throw it in my direction. And we'll have a little fun. By the way, there's more spiced rum. What?
You said throw it in your direction.
Oh, do you have a drink idea? Is it written on the back of this? How'd you like that catch? Here, rearm yourself. All right. This is the Robinson Crusoe. Cold ass is frozen crack. Okay. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. I like a little bit of rum, a pineapple. You know what? I should have used it earlier. Why is the rum always gone? Cold ass is frozen crack. Does anybody else speak? Shannon? Yeah, because I'm confused, sweetie. What?
It's not hard to do.
Cheers. The Robinson. Oh, yeah, fuck it. We'll go with it. Growing up, I've gone off on this tangent before, and I was just talking about it last night. MTV really ruined a lot of shit. What do you have? Teen Mom? 16 and Pregnant? I'll tell you what, let's go with a little more fun ones. The Real World. You said that you were going for water out there so Cat would fall.
A cold ass is a frozen crack. Now I get it.
I haven't drank nearly enough. All right.
Thanks for the explanation.
We got you, beautiful. Hey. So on that note, the task that I gave Miss Kitty Cat, and this is one of the reasons why we went on over 40 minutes late.
Sorry.
I said, find me some of the stuff we grew up watching. And we were going to do a little compare and contrast.
Pictures. You
Well-
wanted me to find pictures. Oh, I
Cat-
had fun.
Kat really, it wasn't just TV shows. She was looking up, it doesn't matter. It could have been sports. It could have been, so Kat went through and found some stuff. Let's go down a little bit of memory lane. And for all you younger fans, you're going to be like, what the hell is this? So Kitty Cat, give me the first one. What was one of your favorites?
All uploaded.
Huh?
I got them to the computer. I didn't get them in here yet.
Oh, okay. Well, wait for it. There she goes. She's just going to go nuts here. Luckily, it doesn't take that long to, what's the first one she's going to surprise us with? Give me something good. Oh my goodness. Back when there were heroes. Who remembers? It was before it was WWE, it was WWF, World Wrestling Federation. Now, I've seen a documentary where they were talking about the difference between WWF and WCW and NWA. They always say that the NWA was, you got wrestling, but there was good wrestling on WWF, but they were more the Harlem Globetrotters, whereas the WCW and the NWA were, NBA basketball. So, that being said, I'll tell you right now, a lot of the people you saw in that picture, who didn't grow up idolizing these guys? I know there's a lot, it was fun talking to some of my coworkers. They were all, especially down south. I would have thought where, wrestling was huge, they, oh yeah, we grew up on wrestling. Oh, fuck no. Oh, it's all fake. It's all this. It's all that. Oh, they got a spring in the middle, and oh, they did. That wasn't the point. I like the WWF the best because they made it fun. Now, did I like watching Sting and Harley Race and Lex Luger and Ric Flair and, the Steiner brothers and, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, all these guys, yeah, I grew up watching them as well, but the WWF was the one. Hulk Hogan everybody will always remember Hulk Hogan. And even the wrestlers today will tell you that he completely revolutionized wrestling. He changed the game. He was that one true larger than life. And again, I bring it back up that, this was a time where, you got a magazine. If it was your favorite wrestler, or whether it be, wrestling, football, baseball, basketball, I didn't watch a lot of basketball, I'll be honest, but I still had, Michael Jordan on the wall. I had Larry Bird. I had, Magic Johnson and, Patrick Ewing, all those guys. We had Jose Canseco and, even though we didn't get a chance to watch them, we still, a lot of us grew up wanting to be those people. We idolized them. Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Andre the Giant, Macho Man, Randy Savage. I could go on and on and on. And what's fun is I sit back and I've tried really hard to get into today's stuff. And I think one of the things that kind of got me on a wrestling kick was, congratulations, Roman Reigns. He's a 2-time Royal Rumble winner now, and he's going to be headlining the upcoming WrestleMania. And of course, now I like what they did there. There are a few things I do like. I like the fact that they're really pushing the female wrestlers as well. Back growing up, yeah, you heard about the Fabulous Moolah, Sensational Sherry. Some of them did. They people seem to forget they did wrestle. But they were always the sex appeal. They were the valets. They were the managers. They were, now, some of these women are like, they're athletes. They're absolute monsters in there. And that being said, about 4 years ago, I think it was now, the WWE decided they were going to add a full-on women's division, and now the women have, their own Royal Rumble match. They've also headlined WrestleMania. There was one, it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey, and Becky Lynch. They were the headliners for WrestleMania. They were the main event. I got a couple up. I'm trying to.
Oh,
If I'm not
terribly
mistaken.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, what do we got? Stretch Hulk Hogan action figure. I didn't see the stretch ones, but I do remember they were a hard rubber. And there was the ring. You had Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, George Animal Steel was another one, King Kong Bundy, Junkyard Dog, Macho Man. Then they went into, the more action figure type. Who didn't like George Animal Steel? He had two main characteristics. Two things you could always guarantee to see with him. One, he would rip open the turnbuckle and eat the stuffing. Number two, everybody remembers the green tongue. Brutus the Barber, I guess, is it Brutus the Barber or is it Brutus the Barber? I got you, girl, don't worry. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Man, he's worn so many hats in wrestling. It's unreal. I mean, he was always Brutus the Barber Beefcake in WWF, and then when he went over to WCW, he went through so many different characters. And, it's amazing that the man could even wrestle. He was in a very severe boating accident. So, again, these are people that we grew up idolizing. I did my damnedest to get Connor to put these pictures up on the wall. Do the same thing, kid. Get a Sports Illustrated. Find your favorite, player and put them up on the wall. Doesn't always have to be all Steelers. It could have been, whoever you thought was amazing. Who did you, grow up wanting to be? Who did you root for? But I mean, again, nowadays, I mean, what do we got? I mean, they're a lot more athletic now today. Back then, it was more about the brutality. It was the hero over the villains. And I think that's one of the things that really got people's attention about it. Nowadays, you really don't know who's gonna win. You go in, the hero, oh, this is gonna be the guy, he's gonna win, and then somehow the heel finds a way to win. Now, that being said, it kind of you go back to Ric Flair. Ric Flair, one of the things that people loved about his character. First off, he did one of the best. He was one of the best at promos. Phenomenal. And then he would get into a match and literally get his ass kicked the entire time. He'd get some offense in there, but he would literally get his ass kicked the entire time. But somehow, in the end, he would always find a way to win. Enough about wrestling, though. I don't know. I've brought it up before, like Saturday morning cartoons, or you get off from school, you get home, and everybody sat down to watch their favorite show. Kat, what was yours? There had to have been one. You could not wait to get home. Something. How about you guys? What was your favorite show? I think I see. Oh, Rowdy Piper. Okay, we'll go back to that real quick. We got enough pictures waiting. Please. I need to be able to see. Rowdy Piper, the dude, he was pound for pound the king of the promos. That man could talk. It was awesome. And then, when you got into the Attitude Era, yeah, they did go through. They had the Attitude Era, and then they had the Ruthless Aggression Era. I don't even know what they call this now. I think it's the Paul Levesque era, which is Triple H. I don't know. Everybody thought they were going to try and bring back the Attitude Era. They cleaned up their act, so to say. They had, today's president, Donald Trump. He partnered up with Vince McMahon, and one of the things they did was they dropped Playboy. And that was one of the things, I mean, even my wife, always, every year you wanted to see what diva was going to make it in to Playboy. We all remember China. Who would have thought? And she looked amazing. Sable, she's been in there multiple times. Ren Romero. And then, they did the diva search. Well, you had Christy Hemming. She went in. I think it was Ashley Massaro was her name. Maria. These are things, people were starting to, but they really kind of rooted for it. They wanted to see who was going to be the next one in. And then they decided to make it a lot more family friendly. So they dropped and cut ties with Playboy and they went more PG. Yes. So I remember when Hulk Hogan tried to get into movies. No holds barred growing up because, I think even though it bombed in the theaters, we still watched it because it was Hulk Hogan. Mr. Nanny, Suburban Commando, it was now, The Rock obviously has become the biggest WWE star to cross over into Hollywood and just flourish. John Cena is not bad. I'm not the biggest fan. Personally, just dude, stick to your promos, stay in the ring, everything's good. But as far as, him in movies, no. The Rock, who hasn't seen The Rundown? Amazing. I even liked his Walking Tall. Doom did suck. Let's call it, what it was, so on and so forth. But, and a lot of wrestlers would actually make appearances in some of the stuff we grew up. So I ask you again, Kitty Cat, what was one of your favorite ones to watch? Everybody had one, whether it be Saturday morning, coming home from school, did you, please tell me you guys sat down and watched, as a family, Full House, Mr. Belvedere, Step by Step.
Cheers, Roseanne.
Why am I not surprised Roseanne would be in your repertoire? I personally did like Roseanne too. I thought she was hilarious. Her and John Goodman, two of the funniest together. You've got one up there though that I actually had the stuffed animal. And I had the choice between getting just the regular plush or get the one that talked.
That was a weekly show for us, yes.
And bring it on up. How many people remember this little gem?
And yes, I had the jammies, I had the stuffy, I had the talking one, I had it all.
Honestly, I had the doll, I had the t-shirts, I had the comic books.
I even had the little hat, the hat that the kid has on.
The only thing that drove me nuts about that show was the season finale or the series finale. It left it like
it left it open to be able to make more,
and they never
not.
did.
Mm-hmm.
I never understood why they never renewed it. I've never heard, was it money? Was it, lack of...
Okay, so Shannon says He-Man and Silver Spoons. Alf, yes, remember that. So I couldn't find individual pictures, so I was having a blast with some of these collages.
Mm.
So we'll go with the 79 80s TV.
I tell you what, Saturday with my stepbrother and stepbrothers, sisters, my brothers, all of us sat down. We loved Pee-wee's Playhouse. Absolutely loved it. I thought that was it was so much fun. We all, the secret word.
So we have Charlie's Angels. We have, of course, Dukes of Hazzard,
Oh.
Facts of Life, Knots Landing, Alice, Dallas.
I can't see the picture from here.
Mm-hmm.
Magnum PI.
Heart to Heart,
I see different
Archie
strokes on
Bunker's
there.
Place, Chips. So these were a little older.
And I'll be honest, I mean, I did watch some of them, but they were a little bit before me. That was still during my cartoon era.
So here we go with these ones.
Mm.
Miami Vice, The Wonder Years, MacGyver, The Cosby Show, Golden Girls, Remington Steele, 21 Jump Street, Who's the Boss, Knight Rider, and of course Dallas.
I mean, where could you go wrong with any of those shows? Those were freaking phenomenal to watch. I absolutely loved them.
And then our classics too. So we're back to Chips and Knight Rider, Perfect Strangers,
Mhm.
Pee-wee's Playhouse, Miami Vice, Facts of Life, Dukes of Hazzard.
Hey, the $6 million man.
MASH was a good one that I always watched with my mom.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I love MASH was actually a movie at first.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did a spin-off and did a whole series after that. Which, I mean, a lot of the characters in that, they went on to have freaking awesome careers.
The $6 Million Man, I don't remember that one, but I remember the Bionic Man and the Bionic Woman.
$6 Million Man was Lee Majors. Kind of the same thing,
Well, no, I remember the concept. I remember, but I don't remember 100%. You know what I mean? So, that was my stroll down memory lane. I had a blast. I have a whole bunch more pictures, but some of them aren't wanting to load for me. We have this one.
Basically, everybody we mentioned are Jesse the Body Ventura, the Governator. Yes, he was also the governor. I could do the whole 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon with that one. Both him and Schwarzenegger were both governors of their state. And both have ties to WWF. And both were in Predator. You look like the wheels are spinning, but I think the hamster died about halfway around the first part.
Yep. My brain is going all sorts of ways right now. You taking me down memory lane, and now I have clips of this and clips of this and clips of this all jumbled.
Some of the ones we weren't able to get. I remember my dad, he absolutely loved St. Elsewhere.
Oh, that's a good one.
He liked Hill Street Blues. He really enjoyed The Greatest American Hero.
Now, if you want to talk soap operas.
Oh, sure.
Now, I don't watch soap operas except for when I go to my mother's. And I have been watching the same soap opera since I was born with her. That'll tell you how long it's been out. Young and the Restless.
That was my mom's.
That's been my mom's forever.
She liked the Young and the Restless. My grandmother liked the
Now,
Young
when
and the
I got
Restless.
together with Blue, he would always watch Days of Our Lives.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, my grandmother was Young and the Restless. My mom and her best friend were Days of Our Lives.
Blue was always the Days of Our Lives. I remember when he was, I think Riley was, let me see, October to November, December, January. Riley was 4 months old, and Blue fell at work and broke his foot. So I had a 4-month-old and a hobbling on one leg.
3-year-old. Sorry, Blue.
Not-
Love you,
does
buddy.
does not do well on crutches, and I had to take care of him and the 4-month-old. So it was pretty easy. I just hand the 4-month-old to him. He would sit there with his foot up, and he would watch his Days of Our Lives every day.
I used to watch. Okay, so when I was on
I
summer
have
break,
pictures of that too.
I would sit down and watch Young and the Restless. I don't know what it is. How about you guys out there? Let me know what you think. Sometimes you just can't help but get into it. Shannon says Guiding Light.
Yes, yes. So growing up, it was always Young and the Restless. Then what's the one right after Young and the Restless?
Holy crap, she went off on a look at her. Magnum PI, Star Search. Who doesn't remember Star American Bandstand? These are all still Scarecrow.
WKPR or WR, yeah.
WKRP out of
Yes,
Cincinnati.
thank you. Yes, yes. That was actually on one of the ones that wouldn't load for me. Guiding Light. So she had 3 shows. It was Young and the Restless, and then the one that comes on right after it. And she still watches it. And for the life of me, I can't think of the name of it right off the top.
General
of my head.
Hospital?
No.
Nope. I can't remember which one.
It's a spinoff of Young and the Restless. Literally, they
As the World Turns?
No.
I don't know. There's so many anymore. I can't remember the last time I've sat down and tried to.
From 12:30 to 1:30, she would watch Young and the Restless, and then from 1:30 to 2, it would be that one, and then at 3:00 it was Guiding Light. But I haven't seen Guiding Light in years.
See, me personally, I mean, going home, I loved what, and we all sat down and watched it. We watched The Wonder Years, obviously, Full House, Step by Step, and Mr. Belvedere. And it was a bummer because, obviously they're all half hours. So you had that 2-hour span and but it wasn't just Saturday morning cartoons. I used to get up in the morning and she said Another World.
No.
She's digging in right now as we speak. I don't know. Unless I was sitting down with somebody that was, that was kind of mine and my grandmother's thing. We would sit down and watch The Young and the Restless. And I actually got involved in the stories. I got, they really started to follow them. Like, this is kind of cool. And, but then, I'm going to bring it back up.
Bold and the Beautiful.
Oh, so that was a spinoff?
Well, I mean, they came out at like the same time, but yeah, the characters kind of interchange where these ones will visit this place and these ones will visit this. So you see, yeah.
I can't say I know of them, but like I said, there's only 3 that I guess you could say, kind of got invested in. But
I just find it absolutely hilarious is the actors that play on Young and the Restless, the way they age, because they actually don't really age all that much. But if you look back from years ago to now, they do.
Right.
Or at least the men do.
The fun part is soap operas became so, people got so invested in them. Remember Soap Opera Digest? You could find that in the grocery stores. Do they even still have that?
Yes.
It wasn't hard
It's
to
online
find
now.
because it was literally right beside the National Enquirer.
Mhm.
How many people thought the National Enquirer was real, by the way? Anybody at all? The longest time I did. But, young kid. Did I really know any better? Fuck no. But man, I mean, they still had like, you know, I'll never forget going to, and this is after we all realized, you know, we knew it was fake. A buddy of mine was just so random. We went to 7-Eleven for lunch one day. I was working at 84 Lumber, and him and I went over. We were getting lunch, and he could not believe it. He goes, "Son of a bitch!" I mean, really, that had to happen. He goes, "Oh, we're gonna miss Christmas." I'm like, "Why?" He pointed at the National Enquirer. Goes, "See, Bat Boy bit Santa. It's official." I had one that I got the biggest kick out of because, you know, like I said before, I'm big into monsters and horror movies, and you know, they call it cryptozoology. And there was one National Enquirer I had to have. It was supposed to be the absolute proof that Bigfoot existed, the Loch Ness monster, zombies, vampires. You know, they went. But I mean, Batboy, come on! I'll never forget him for biting Santa Claus. I'm sorry, that ruined my childhood. I remember when that story first broke loose. Now, to be fair about the National Enquirer, though, believe it or not, there have been a couple of times where they got it right, and they were sued because somebody leaked information out to them. Of course, why would you? You know, they're going to pay you buku bucks. So, yeah. Of course, they had to put their little spin on it, but you know, believe it or not, every now and then they would get it right. So, cheers to the National Enquirer. But I mean, it's not just movies. I mean, who remembers Remington Steele? Yeah,
We went down that memory lane a while ago.
Pierce Brosnan. Can anybody name anybody else from Remington Steele other than Pierce Brosnan? How about Magnum PI? This is where it really gets fun, guys. Name somebody other than Tom Selleck.
If you give me a minute, I can.
No,
Without looking.
But here's the other fun one, like the A-Team. You remember characters, but the only person you really knew was Mr. T. Go ahead and look it up. My favorite part of the A-Team, the one thing that I had to watch was, you know, when they would all get together and they would reconstruct a van, or they would modify, you know, do some sort of modification. Now, you brought one up not long ago, though, that what about Knight Rider and MacGyver?
MacGyver was my favorite.
Did anybody watch MacGyver for any other reason but to see him? There was always that one part where he would always find some way to solve a problem. You know,
It was MacGyver and Quantum Leap were always, and they always like were back to back.
I think what made Quantum Leap so neat was the fact that it was definitely sci-fi, but he always, you know, where was he going to end up next? That was at the very end. Was he finally going to make it back? Nope. Now he's in another time with another body, you know, in another story. And what is that? Something of Science.
Misfits of Science.
I recognize that name, but I can't for the life of me think of, you know, I don't know. The whole point is, like, I mean, I think back on all this stuff. You know, look how invested everybody is. You know, you got Shannon, she's blowing. I mean, just it's taking her down memory lane. You went down the wormhole. It's so easy
We're
to,
having a lot of fun with it.
you know. I know you watch stuff today. You had to have.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Thank you.
Sorry,
I
yes.
can't
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm sorry. I'll go back to here. I'm sorry. My fault.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
fun,
that-
isn't it? Yes.
getting
Why do you
that
think it's so hard for me to go to bed? I'll literally, I'm like, holy shit, look at this. And then I have to be a little perv every now and then. Like, wait a minute, did she ever get naked? This would be awesome. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I've done it quite a few times. You'll see this actress and be like, man, she was gorgeous back then. Did she do anything? Make my dreams come true. You know. Man, Walker, Texas Ranger.
Mhm.
Of course, name something that Chuck Norris did that did not turn to gold, except for his like early stuff. You know, he was the true man's man. You know, he was, but you know, that's for a whole nother conversation right there. Trust me, it's not just gonna be horror movies all the time, guys. Trust me, I could talk action comedy. You know, I guess really the point is, you know, I've sat down, I ordered Paramount Plus because it had all the good stuff that I grew up watching from Nickelodeon. Like they have from season 1 to the final episode of Double Dare. Kaylin loves it. We would sit down and binge watch that. Urkel. What was that one? Family Matters. You know, we binge watched all of those. You know, so the funny thing is, I cannot find a show today. Now, me and Sarah can sit down and find something like we both like Landman. Yes, guys, I'm gonna lose some man points on this one, but her and I got into that, and Just Like That, which was a spinoff of Sex and the City. I'm gonna say Californication, but you know that's just my all-time forever favorite. But you know. I can't remember who I was just talking to. I think it was Hooper and Destiny. I'm like, you know, the kids growing up, you know, we'd sit down and watch Phineas and Ferb with Connor. You know, Kaylin got into the Octonauts and all the, you know, Disney to me is still good, but I don't know. I'm still trying to think of something today that's as good as what I used to watch, what I grew up watching. And we always end up going back and watching. You know, and it's not hard to find a lot of these.
Okay, so 1980s and 1990s TV shows. Action and drama was Magnum PI, Knight Rider,
Right.
The A-Team, Miami Vice, MacGyver, and Baywatch. Sitcoms and comedy. The Golden Girls, classic. Absolute amazing.
Oh, you can't go wrong with
The
Blanche.
Cosby Show, Cheers, and Family Matters. Oh, now there's one. Sci-fi and drama. Beauty and the Beast.
Ah, yes, Ron Perlman and Linda Hamilton.
Quantum Leap and Twin Peaks.
And I remember Twin Peaks too. How about some of the other ones? Like, I mean, go ahead. You were doing good. No, I was going to bring up, like, you know, again, we're going to dig into my darkness. You know, they did a horrible spinoff of Friday the 13th, but you couldn't help but watch it. There was Monsters. There was Freddy's Nightmares. You know, there was like the evening TV too. It wasn't just, you had your Saturday mornings, you know, and your early morning cartoons for the kids, your afternoons, you know, for the stay-at-home moms. You had the family time. And then you had the kids have gone to bed. Guess what? We're gonna sit down and watch the more.
So if we go into 80s and 90s movies, Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back,
Okay.
The Shining, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Blade Runner,
Bobby Ryder.
Back to the Future, Die Hard, and Aliens.
Just a few.
Home Alone, Ghost, Pretty Woman. God, I'm starting to feel old. Goodfellas, Edward Scissorhands, and Misery. That is one of my favorites.
And what's fun about Stephen King, you know, yeah, he did a lot of movies, and I got to touch on this one. Wonder Years. I think the only reason, Bobby, me and you watched it, who did not fall in love with Winnie? My God. It's kind of like Boy Meets World, you know,
Topanga.
Topanga all day long.
So sitcom dominance. The Cosby Show was the #1 show for 5 consecutive years. Go figure.
Look at him now.
Yeah. In 1990, hits was Cheers, remained a top performer in the 90s. Genre expansion. The late 80s and 90s introduced more blended shows like The X-Files.
So you can honestly, we could do a whole episode on the only reason I watched Jessica Alba. Oh my God, yes.
So we have The Wonder Years, we have Family Ties, Growing Pains, Who's the Boss, Saved by the Bell, Full House, Friends, Simpsons.
You know what's fun about The Simpsons? It's the longest running sitcom. And you can fact check that one if you want. I'm pretty sure it's the longest running sitcom. It was a cartoon, but it was more geared towards like the older teens, like the ones getting ready to graduate high school and adults, which is why it always came on at 8 p.m. That was right around the time you were getting ready to go to bed. You know, the kids were getting ready to go to bed. Kids are getting their showers, getting ready for school, whatever. Tales from the Crypt. Oh. Now, Connor actually got into that. I did not mean for him to be watching it. Me and Sarah were watching it because even she got into that one. That was the HBO series that came out, and I think it was every Saturday they had a new Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, wow.
And it had the who's who, like had some of the biggest names. Here, let me throw some out there for you. Let's see if you remember this. Red Shoe Diaries. Before there was Skinamax, HBO actually had the edgier stuff. So David Duchovny, before he was Agent Mulder in the X-Files, he did a show called The Red Shoe Diaries. And it was about a writer that he was constantly looking for new, but he wanted the erotic stories.
Fraggle Rock. Holy heck.
We've got every one of them in there. Gummy Bears. Tailspin.
Oh, wow.
See how easy it is?
So the longest running sitcom worldwide longevity is Last of the Summer Wine, which ran from 1973 to 2010. Longest running animated sitcom in the US is The Simpsons. Currently, it's in the 36th season. Longest running live action sitcom, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, from 2005 to the present. Longest running live action US episodes, The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, was 1952 to 1966 with 435 episodes. The longest running sitcoms by season count, #1 is The Simpsons. #2 is Last of the Summer Wine. #3 is South Park.
Oh, geez.
#4 is Family Guy. 5 is Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Then Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet. The Big Bang Theory. Married with Children, Cheers, and Modern Family.
You know, I've watched a few episodes of The Modern Family. It wasn't bad. But, I think for me, you brought up, there was 2 shows in there, coincidentally, that had Ed O'Neill in it. Ed O'Neill was in Family Guy. He was the one married to Sofia Vergara, but he was also Al Bundy. And what's funny is people don't realize he's been in so many movies and done so many good things. But the one thing he will always be remembered as will always be Al Bundy. And when you think about it, that show, could they do that show today? Honestly, and this is like the big summary here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the cancel culture is kind of dying out a little bit. People are starting to get that sense of humor back. But man, I mean, what was it? The no man, he had the No Ma'am group. He loved his wife, but he did, he was, what was a good way to put it? Like, I mean, there's many episodes where he had the opportunity to kind of stray off, but he always ran back to Peg. He always stayed devoted.
And then when he was there, he always questioned why.
Yeah.
But that's
the funny, the huge mother-in-law. I mean, that you never seen.
Mm-hmm.
But the house would start shaking. He goes, "Oh God, Peg, is your mother here?" And then you had the super hot, sexy, but completely stupid, dim-witted. They did try to remake The Fresh Prince. I'll get with that in 1 second. But then you had Kelly Bundy was she was the ultimate airhead. But at the end of the day, again,
she is very, very smart.
Oh, Christina Applegate.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah, she is.
Very intelligent.
And she's a breast cancer survivor.
But she played that role perfectly.
The ditzy bimbo. And then you had the lazy housewife. But if you really want to come together with it, they were still a family at the end. His kids disappointed him. He talked shit on Peg, but at the end of the day, they always found a way at the end to, they always did everything as a family. So I think that was a little tongue in cheek in the end. I think, in my opinion, that was like, whoever created it was kind of like, this is like the everyday family here. You're still a family, you love each other, but this is how you feel. Like, you feel like you're in a no-end situation. Are you truly happy with you? I think he was at the end. But they did try to remake The Fresh Prince. You could find it on, if I'm not mistaken, is it on Peacock? They just called it Bel Air.
Yes.
And it was a lot edgier.
It's not really that they tried to remake it, but they went with the same storyline. Yes, sort of.
It was more along the lines of Will at school, as opposed to like the actual Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah, they did stuff where he was at school, but it was more about the family. His relationship with his cousin Carlton and Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv. Sons of Anarchy. Now, I got into it a little bit, but I never could fully get into it as much as everybody else did. And I'm sure if Jason was on here, he'd be.
I watched it, and I could rewatch it.
I did finally watch all of one season. I just never have started the second one. I felt for the characters. I got into the characters, but I already know how it all ends. I already know key things
because he
because
says Sons of Anarchy after we were just talking about Married with Children.
Oh, Peggy Bundy's in it.
Because Katie Siegel, to go from that ditzy, lazy housewife to
you hated her.
That empowering. Oh yeah.
Oh, here we go. Empowering my ass. Now, did she want power? Oh yeah. And it didn't matter who she hurt or what she did to get there. She was going to keep her status no matter what. Didn't matter who she sacrificed, who she hurt, who she lied to, who she cheated on. There was no empowerment there. She was an actual villain in that movie or that show. Was she devoted to the club? Yes. Did she love Jax? Yes. But she was more about her status.
Oh, I don't deny that she was all in it for her, as long as it was for her. Yes, I get that. But again, to go from playing the part of Peggy Bundy to playing that part, it was a complete 180.
Agreed. Ugh. I don't know. Like I said, I couldn't stay. You know, my favorite part of the whole series, and I did see it at the very end. You know, I know how the last couple. Yeah, why not? I know how the last couple ended. I'll come to you, sweetie. You're all mic'd up and
I'm attached
headphoned
now.
up, and
I'm now attached to the machines. I can't move very much.
There was nothing more satisfying, and that's probably why if you get on YouTube, you can find, you know, the favorite deaths from that series. She's like at the top. You were so happy to see her go down. I did not feel bad for her.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. After watching it, oh yeah, the build up of waiting for that to finally happen, but that's because it got me invested. It got me wanting to see her. That's what I'm meaning. Oh, I'm trying to figure out my words.
All right, after that drink. Woo. Woo! But see, there's the thing. I mean, I like the fact that, you know, good job, Shannon, picking that one. Like, I mean, people got invested in that show. They really enjoyed it. You fell in love with the characters. You were rooting for the characters. How many people actually felt horrible when Opie met his demise?
I still cry. I still cry when I think
A friend of
about it.
mine said her husband sat there when that scene happened. He bawled his eyes out.
Oh yeah, I was so angry.
And the thing of it was, I mean, his story through that whole series was so tragic. I mean, look what happened in the very first season. His wife gets killed. He didn't even want to be a part of it anymore. He kind of got drugged back in. And it literally cost him everything. You know, Jax, he didn't know which way was up. He didn't know, he was constantly, you know, at one point, did he not become a nomad? He said, you know what, I'm still going to be a member, but I'm not going to be a part of any of the chat. I'm going to bounce around. You know,
the spinoff of that was Mayans,
which was their biggest rivals. And neither one could ever get the upper hand on the other. So again, I mean, so you said Sons of Anarchy. Now name another one. Now you know, love to sit down. You like CSI. And what's the other one you watch?
Law and Order.
Okay,
Grey's Anatomy, 911.
What's normally the one you get into now, though? Like whenever I come in here, you've got one on. So NCIS.
Yes, NCIS. And there was many spin-offs of that one. There was regular NCIS.
Mm-hmm.
But it started out with CSI.
Yeah, CSI Vegas. And
CSI,
then,
just plain CSI. And then there was New York. There was
Miami.
There was Las Vegas. There was all these different ones. Well, then I got really attached to the NCIS. And then they had NCIS New Orleans. And then they had LA. And the only one that weathered all the years is the original.
For me, I like stuff like that. Now, me and Sarah did get into 911. Steve says the Mayans, Criminal Minds.
Yes, I watched that for quite some time.
Now we're talking. Okay, so guys, we're naming a lot of adult ones. What do you sit down and watch with the kids?
They don't have little kids anymore.
What do you end up? You know what I end up having to do? I got to backtrack. Kaylin's now old enough, and I literally purchased them. They were on sale. I got them through Fandango. I've got season 1 through, I can't remember, I think it was 8 or 9, however many there are, all the Buffys. So, really to sit down and watch something with her, you'd have to, either you get into, what is that, K-pop Demon Hunter? I sat down and tried to watch that. I thought it was absolutely stupid.
Now, like, Liz is the one that watches shows with us. She's the youngest out of the 3. She's the one that watches the shows with us. She watches the Chicago's with us. Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD. She'll watch Grey's Anatomy. Now, she went back on her own and watched all the originals the whole way leading up to this season.
Okay.
To catch herself up. And, oh, my goodness, that child is invested in Grey's Anatomy. She cried for 2 weeks when Derek died.
See, I think back to
yeah, we watched Found, Landman, Tulsa King. Tulsa King is the one with Sylvester
Mr. Stallone. Yeah, he gets, moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and starts to rebuild there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. My parents never let me watch Landman or anything like that. ER was, stuff like that we got into. Rescue 911. And like I said,
we watch all the 911.
Not to sound like, sappy, but like whatever happened to the good family, sit down, you feel good in the end. You know what I mean?
Connors.
Maybe. We watch Wednesday. She loves it. Okay, now I've heard stuff about that, heard good things, haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
But I can sit down. Honestly, I could go in there right now and say, "Hey, Kaylin, let's watch some more Mayor of Kingstown." I heard about that. I could say, "Hey, Kaylin, let's watch Double Dare." She would be in my lap, sitting there trying to, answer the questions, loves the physical challenges and all that, and the obstacle course. And she especially likes the prizes, because you got to think that was late 80s, early 90s. So the phone still had the cord. Remember the famous Sports Illustrated football phone? They were Nickelodeon, but they were promoting Disney.
Now, if we go back a couple years when I still had actual cable TV, we used to sit down as a family and we would watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Okay.
Any kind of the trivia. We still love watching Family Feud.
Yes.
Different things like that.
I still love Jeopardy. Well, not so much in Silas Trebek.
I know.
You can't.
Know. That's rough. I know.
I mean, it's kind of like watching, me and Kaylin love to watch, when we're home together. We do watch Let's Make a Deal, and we watch The Price is Right.
It's really hard watching The Price is Right.
Because who do you think of every time? Bob Barker.
Drew Carey is doing a phenomenal job. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it's just not the same. Like in my head, sitting down with my grandma and watching Price is Right every single day kind of thing at Bob Barker and his girls and all of this and all
the Barker beauties.
That was just, but don't get me wrong, Drew Carey has kept on, not like
but
the late night shows,
I've watched the late night versions of them where the prizes are bigger. And the thing of it is that when you think about it, do you think maybe they might have messed up on that, and maybe Wayne Brady should have took over for Bob Barker, and maybe Drew Carey would have been better doing Let's Make a Deal? No. Or maybe they should have just left well enough alone and kept them doing Whose Line Is It anyways?
No, because that was actually there's behind the scenes stuff with that.
Well, and again, like I said, don't get me wrong. I love Aisha Taylor on Whose Line Is It? Colin Mockery and Ryan Stiles have been there since the early days of Who's Line, before Drew Carey. I can't remember the English gentleman, who, but that was, those two have always been, they've been there since day one. I don't think they're going anywhere. But like Drew Carey, when I see him, I think of Who's Line. I think of the Drew Carey Show with Mimi, and again, and you could even consider that a show you can sit down and watch
Rock.
with.
The Cleveland Rock song, and I just see Drew Carey singing and dancing, and
I tell you what, for us sports fans, Drew Carey got out there when the Cleveland Browns, they brought him back to Cleveland. He came out there and said, "We're about to win the Super Bowl." And the very first game was against the Steelers, and they got absolutely trounced. But I mean, like I said, I guess the whole point is, I mean, I'm still trying to bring back. I love sitting down with my mom, my stepdad, sitting down with my dad, even, and they divorced in '87. So a lot of the stuff I watched with my mom, my stepdad. There was that 2-hour block. Like I said, it was Family Matter, or I'm sorry, Full House, Mr. Belvedere, Family Matters, and Step by Step. Those were, did I like the Golden Girls? Yes, but that was something we knew what time it came on. We sat down, we were all invested. I mean, that was family time. And I think something that really kind of triggered me is the fact that Connor got into this towards the end, where he was spending more time up in his room on his phone or playing video games, which, was still with his friends. Kaylin's doing the exact same thing now. TV, 100% beautiful. We had 3 channels, and you had CBS, NBC, you had Fox. CBS, NBC, ABC.
Mm-hmm. And if you were lucky, PBS.
Oh, yeah. Because you had Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Reading Rainbow.
Yeah.
And I actually even kind of pointed it out when you were going through your pictures. And I still like watching it. Even Kaylin likes watching this one, The Joys of Painting with Bob Ross.
That's what my mom or my grandma would put on to get me to lay down and just calm.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, okay, painting's on. And I would start yelling, "Bob, Bob, Bob." And I would go lay down on my grandma's bed. She would put it on, and I would be perfectly content laying there forever.
I always wanted, Disney Channel wasn't what it was back then, like it is today.
Right.
But there was a lot. I mean, the Mickey Mouse Club's been going since like the 50s? And that Funicello and,
Yeah. Frankie and Annette.
So you had a version of the Disney Channel. And I remember, growing up, there was one kid in particular. He was this little Asian Hawaiian. Ernie Reyes Jr. And they did a pilot for the show, and it actually was on CBS, but it was geared more towards Disney, and it was called Sidekicks. And what was cool about this kid, the Karate Kid, like everybody wanted to know karate because of the Karate Kid.
1955 it started.
So not bad me. Now look what we got, Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, Ariana Grande, Britney Spears. These are all, I don't even think the Mickey Mouse Club is still a thing anymore.
Mm-mm.
But, there were certain things I always, you always looked forward to. I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons because it was a little bit too, I think it was more because my parents, cartoons were supposed to be fun for the kids, not,
Who was the most famous Mickey Mouse Club member?
Oh God.
You already said the name.
I'm gonna say probably Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera. Annette Funicello.
Mm-hmm.
She was the original cast member. Everybody loved Annette Funicello. But I mean, I think back on all this stuff, and I would love to be able to sit down. And this is why I'm constantly telling Sarah, here, pick a movie, pick something. We going to the movies just it hits different today. Sitting down and trying to watch something on regular television, we always end up going back. We're 3 seasons into Cheers.
How old is Mickey Mouse?
Well, before he was Mickey Mouse, he was Steamboat Willie.
How old is Mickey Mouse?
I'm gonna say he's over 100 years old. 19. No, couldn't be. I'm gonna say 1940. So he's gonna be like 80, 70.
Mickey Mouse turned 97 years old in 2025. His birthday is November 18th.
Like I said,
he debuted in Steamboat Willie in 1928, making 2028 his 100th anniversary.
and honestly, I can thank my mom for my love of Disney, because she would always go when we. Who remembers when you could first start renting them?
I want to talk Disney. What is your favorite Disney?
Favorite Disney movie? Ooh. I am going to have to say, you know what? Probably Aladdin.
Not for me.
It would have to be Aladdin. And what's fun about that is, I mean, there was some real, do we go cartoons or do we go actual movies? Because there was, a lot of live action movies like Flight of the Navigator, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Pete's Dragon, Darby O'Gill and the Little People. It just
Okay, if we go with animated,
yeah, I'd have to say probably Aladdin. It had just about everything. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And that's not to say I don't like some of the originals. Hell, every Halloween we always watch Ichabod Crane, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which is also it's preceded with Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Stuff like that I thoroughly like. I really do. I like sitting down. I don't know, maybe there's a part of me now that, like I said, I want to bring it back. I think people don't do that anymore. And me and Sarah have to catch each other every now and then. We'll sit down and we'll be watching a movie, but we're still getting on our phones. I remember, it wasn't all that long ago. Kaylin was begging us, let's play a board game. Let's play something. Remember sitting down with your family and playing Monopoly, Life, Chutes and Ladders, stuff like that. It's just, it's a bag. Feel free. Somebody popped into the nosebleeds real quick and then just had like the most astounded look on their face. You said the antenna though, Shannon. My dad had, and we all loved this thing. It was, he put up the antenna and it had this little box that had a dial, and the antenna, to find the signal, you turn the dial so far to try and find. And the problem was, if you went too far, you see the picture, there it is, and then it goes to snow. It's like, stop. No, you can't do that because you'll break it. So now you dial it back just like a fraction of an inch. Still not working. Oh my God.
So if I think back, and I checked to make sure it was an actual Disney movie, because I was questioning myself on that one. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
It's a Disney movie now, but it was kind of that crossover. Because it had, it was the first time that Daffy Duck and Donald Duck came together. It's the first time that Mickey Mouse met Bugs Bunny. That's probably one of the best movies ever made when you sit down and think about it. It had an amazing cast. Yeah,
A
it was good.
combination of people and animation combined. And it was just to see the behind the scenes and to see all the characters
Yeah.
actually being, and it was just, it was,
And
yeah.
you know me, I love that noir type. So with it being based more into like the 30s and 40s, back during the, you think about the Dick Tracy era, or
Mhm.
I love that whole, like, there was nothing about that movie that was not good. And I raise your hand out there if the scene where Judge Doom, you find out he's a tomb after he got flattened by the steamroller. He inflates himself, and you see the eyeballs pop out. It's like, oh, that was kind of creepy. And then he turns around, he's got those eyes, and it's like, oh, like it went from being, wholesome and funny. I mean, but there was there was some dark undertones to it. It had murder, madness, and mayhem. I mean, the sex appeal, and yes, there are a few little hidden Easter eggs in there. They had a lot of fun, we'll say, with Jessica Rabbit, which was voiced by Kathleen Turner.
That's another one. It's not a Disney movie, but it just, the duck thing reminds me. Another movie that it's not animated, but it's based. It was Howard the Duck.
Loved it. That was actually a Marvel comic book.
Yeah, that was. It was just
one of the most hated movies today, and it has such a cult following. Imagine that. Big Trouble in Little China. Huge following today.
There's just, oh wow, yeah. So I went home last night after our show last night and talking about all these old movies that. And you seriously? Okay, so I told Blue, I made the mistake of telling Blue that we were going down memory lane and talking about all these different movies, and I was like, I really actually want to find them and watch them again.
Tubi, Crackle.
Can't find half of them.
You want to know what's really funny?
But on a positive note, in a couple weeks, I will be going to my mother's. And I know my DVD collection is at her house. So I can watch some of my old movies while I'm down there with her.
But see, this is why I also do, as much as I like Netflix.
She'll rewatch movies. Blue, nope. If he's seen it once, he's done.
Blue, what is wrong with you?
Now, if it's like a really one that he really, really likes, that has all of his stuff in one movie, then I might be able to convince him to rewatch it.
All of his stuff.
But yeah, he likes comedy. He likes anything sports, of course. He likes
Mr. Ed.
Well, let's see here. Space Jam was one of his.
Was good.
But it was one of his movies because it wrapped a bunch of different things into one for him. The sports movies, of course. Anything gang, police. Now he did watch the new Bad Boys with me.
They should have left it alone at 2.
No, I actually kind of enjoyed this one because it was like a final for me. I was able to finally, in my head, put them in retirement.
Still, I mean, Blue, the whole point of tonight, like I said, is that family time. Put the phones down for one, even if it's just for like an hour and a half.
Oh, no. When Blue
chips, yeah.
Even when Blue is watching our shows.
And me and Sarah do that too.
But his thing is the same issue he has here. I'm hard of hearing. I have a speaker literally sits right here on my chair with the sound. His side has the bass because we have surround sound. His side has the bass and the background noises. I have all the words at my side. but he has the volume on his phone and he's scrolling through TikTok hearing all of this, and I can't hear the TV and it's on 60.
But here's the fun thing, though. I mean, the main reason I get on my phone is because I start looking up like actors and actresses. How old are they? What are they doing? You know, are they
He's
still
scrolling through TikTok or playing one of his games or Facebook, and he's just he can't.
Yeah, but if you went and you got like,
Focus.
you know, a bowl of ice cream and sat it down in front of him, or, you know, popcorn, or, well, okay. Sarah, you know, when we do sit down and watch a movie, her and Kaylin are well known for going out and getting, you know, popcorn or making that like popcorn. I used to as a kid. I don't.
Yeah, that's been Blue and I's like nightly snack.
You know,
We have a bowl
chips
of
and dip,
popcorn and we
love
watch.
it.
Yeah,
You know, pretzels, you know. But that's the thing. You see, like I said, I mean, just the opportunity to sit down and watch a movie together and laugh and joke. Now, the problem with Kaylin, love her to death. You know, I love my little girl. She's a talker.
this is why I don't normally invite Christian to watch a movie with us, and it's not that he's a talker. But if you find a movie that he really wants to watch, and he'll sit there and watch it without having a device in his hand, playing a game or something, because he actually focuses better when he's doing his gaming on his phone. That is one of my ultimate all-time favorites, and I believe I will have to look, but I believe that's one of the ones that I actually have at my house to be able to watch. Sorry. Christian is me 10 times more, where he analyzes everything and he sits there and tries to tell you what he thinks the movie should do instead of quietly watching what the writers wrote into the script.
Now, I can understand talking, like not during key points and not, you know, as soon as it comes to my, you know, in between, like, you know, you hear them, they're done with their sentence. Now say something real quick, not in the middle of a conversation, you know, say talking's fine. But I tell you what, the only time I say zero talking is in a movie theater. I can't, excuse me, I cannot stand anybody talking in a movie theater.
That's the only time that he's actually really good at being quiet.
That's just, that's the unwritten rule. You don't talk in a movie theater. Period. You don't get on your phone. You know, you don't.
He's still usually, if I take him to a movie theater, he's still usually on his phone though. But he has the screen, he has no volume on it to begin with, and he has the brightness turned way down. But again, that's because he's able to focus better when he's got that in his hand. And I don't understand, but that's the autism. I don't get that.
I'm sorry. I'm the type of guy, though. I'm like you. I'm going to sit down. If I got a question, I'm sure the movie will answer it. You got to give it a chance. Don't sit there. Why are they doing this? Why didn't they this do? Why are they what? Well,
Yeah.
if you just sit down and watch, they're going to explain it. Or, you know, if
The
you weren't on
one-
your phone, you'd have seen they already explained why this is about to happen. Or, you know,
The one movie that we went to watch with him, as Blue was away, my mother-in-law actually brought the movie down and she sat down with us, and it was the three kids, me and her. And I, for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of the movie right now, but I know it was about animals. It was pets. It was something. And Christian got so upset that the animal died. I think it was a pet's life or something like that.
okay.
He had a complete meltdown. He flipped out. He went to his room and he wouldn't come back. Even after we told him it was okay, because it turned out to be a good thing in the end, it was still came out to be a good ending.
Right.
But that completely shut him down.
Kind of like Turner and Hooch.
So yeah, it just was not a good. Not a
I,
good.
you know, Turner and Hooch is one of those ones. You know, you hated that. You know, Hooch died. I mean, yeah, it's kind of a feel good ending where it had the, you know, oh, there's, you know, Hooch's pup, but it's still not Hooch in the end.
Right.
But I don't know. Like I said, I mean, we can go on and on. Like, I mean, you guys all mentioned adult type shows, but you can't find a family show. Now, unless you want to sit down and watch like Survivor, and even that's got a lot of, it's more geared towards adults.
Speaking of, so literally, Blue and Elizabeth are literally watching a movie right now together. But he also has our live stream up watching it at the same time as watching a movie with his daughter.
I can't fault him for that.
He's trying to keep it
There-
family.
there's my hypocrisy kicking in. Okay, damn it. Good job, Blue. You're my boy. But no, like I said, you guys named a bunch of adult, CSI, NCIS, Grey's Anatomy. All these are more geared towards adults. What do we got? There's nothing to sit down and watch the family. There really isn't. The Great Race, maybe, but there's so much drama in that. Sinners is a good movie. I've seen it. And I'm strongly thinking, guys, and we're almost to the hour and a half mark. Easy to do. So I'm strongly thinking about, now originally I asked this young lady over here behind the camera about maybe getting together tomorrow and finally finishing the bar. But seeing as how we had a huge response last night, obviously we got a lot of people tuning in on this one and really getting invested in it. Might be time to go ahead and pull the trigger. Maybe tomorrow night we finally we come up with a name and we just run it. And let's see what happens. Obviously, I mean, so I'm constantly trying to find ways for her and I to converse. Obviously, I don't have a quote unquote co-host anymore. Shannon, by the way, if I remember correctly, you did volunteer for that. You kind of like the idea. Me and Ray were actually talking about that just today. Your bedtime's 9:30. Do you think you can at least go through this part and not worry about the second half of everything? Just throwing it out there, girl. But obviously, Kat, you and I have found a true common ground. Basketball tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, so she's going to be in the area anyway. She's going to drop you off. Perfect. Works out. You saw why I've got the messages out now. So, I mean, might be time to go ahead and just absolutely just run with it. And let's see what happens. It's only 3 nights a week. We talk about movies. I knew. But there is one fun thing we can do, which unfortunately we can't have everybody joining in, but we can always record a 4th and still do Trina's trivia. Just throwing it out there. But on that note, yeah, we are. And more people are.
You said you wanted me to talk more.
Well, here's the fun part. We're
There's nobody here for you to talk to, so you're stuck with me.
I'm stuck
So
with you.
now
Yeah.
I'm talking.
So
now I'm talking.
The worst thing that could have happened. Thanks, guys. You got me dressed like a priest. I didn't realize how much that the black was really going to stand out when I put this shirt on. I was like,
oh, well, that's because I have the chin up, but that's okay.
But we also have the whole, we're still touring with everything on, this. But don't forget, guys, in the near future, there's going to be another revamp. We're just going to keep stepping it up until we finally find that. Now, I will clue everybody in. We did get some good news tonight. So the stars might soon be aligning. Whether it be, hi, Mom. Whether it be a dedicated internet out here or something possibly, holy crap.
You've already seen them all.
Okay.
I was just checking.
Yeah, I could probably turn this off because I'm been burning up my battery now that we know that everything's. I don't know. Like I said, we've got so much in works, and I mean, I hate to do that because I mean, we got people they're popping in. I don't know. Sometimes all good things come to an end because we still got a whole nother segment we do. Oh man, and it is after 9 o'clock, so we're gonna have to roll with it, guys. Kitty Cat, go ahead. And, I'm sure you're gonna look one up or figure something out. It is that time for the last shot, and I think it very appropriate given tonight's conversation. I gotta say, you know, like I said, I mean, I'm constantly trying. Nobody could answer. What can we watch as a family? What can you know?
I just tried to Google it, and there isn't really.
There
anything.
isn't, is there?
There's no family shows. I mean,
No,
cartoons for kids, but
everything is so driven. We end up going back to what we grew up watching, and you know what's funny about that? They still have stay power. They have stood the test of time. Today, if you were to say Urkel, if you said Urkel, I guarantee 2 out of 3 people would be like, I know that. Alf, okay, you know, he's a little earlier, but you know, I'd say it was the 90s when things really started to kick. And more wholesome, more family time, more, you know. But you know, Steve used to say this. I don't know how much he actually follows through with it, but this is one thing that me and my boy used to agree with all the time. Sometimes you have to put the phone down. Sometimes you have to turn the games off. Hell, even sometimes, hey, this is going to go against what we were just talking about, but sometimes you have to turn the TV off. You know,
curl up with a good book.
We got plenty. We got another one coming out February 14th, by the way. It's going to be a fun one. We are definitely getting that one. And somebody does want an autographed copy of that. I'm pretty sure even Miss Shannon, Ray would have to sit down and read it. I guarantee you it's going to go through like wildfire.
But you're getting yourself confused.
February 14th is the one where I'm the stalker.
No.
The Halloween one, he just said it the other night.
The Halloween one is the one where you're the stalker.
No, February 14th.
February 14th is you're still a bartender, but you're not the stalker. The stalker one is October.
I'm the stalker.
Because I still have not given him your timely.
Yeah, my unaliving.
Your timely.
And that's the Halloween one.
Yes. That's where you're the stalker.
No, the quirky bartender that gets, you know, unalived. I get to have a little bit of fun, but I get unalived in the Halloween. We'll ask him. I guarantee you. He usually pops on Monday nights anyways. We'll solve this one.
Miss Shannon says, I think we can work it out. And Robin says, I loved Saved by the Bell.
Okay, now, all right, we're going. So, Saved by the Bell. That was about an afternoon. That was after school, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it started off as more of a Disney, believe it or not, because it had it wasn't Saved by the Bell. It was it still had Zach and it had Screech. And I'm trying to remember what it was called. There was one before that had Haley Mills. She was the teacher. I'm trying to remember what that was, but Saved by the Bell. And I'm not going to lie. We all thought Zach was cool. Everybody wanted to be Slater because he was the jock. You love Screech because he was just goofy. You had Lisa, but I mean, come on. Guys, watch that one for Kelly Kapowski. Tiffany Amber Thiessen. And it was so much fun. It really was. I mean, it was a coming of age show
Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
Yes, that's what it was. And basically, it was Zach in middle school with Screech. And they still had a Kelly type person. They still had a, Slater type person in there. It wasn't until they got to high school that they started introducing all those, different people. I think Lisa was actually in there. Lark Voorhees was in Good Morning, Miss Bliss. But yes, that was
Good Morning, Miss. Good Morning, Miss Bliss was a short-lived Disney Channel series that served as a precursor to Saved by the Bell. After one season, 1988 to 1989, it was retooled by NBC, focusing more on students like Zach, Screech, and Lisa, adding new characters Kelly, Slater, and Jesse, shifting the setting to California, and dropping the teacher, Miss Bliss.
And then they took it a step further. They were Saved by the Bell the college years, where you still had Zach, Slater, I think Screech. Yeah, Screech was in it, but they didn't introduce Tiffany Amber Thies until later on. They brought her back. I don't think they ever brought back Jesse for that one, but it was a whole new thing. And that was another short-lived series. So Saved by the Bell was the only one that really stood out. Because, I mean, it had everything. You had friends. You had good storylines. They all had the hangout. What was the name of the hangout? Now I'm trying to remember. They all went to the diner. They had the quirky waiter that was, a magician, and the college years. Yes. I had Mike Golick was the teacher that was, a former NFL player. So Blue, there you go. There's your sports. You have Zach who fell in love with a girl, and then Kelly comes in, and all of a sudden, Kelly's his love interest again. And they did this whole thing where she fell in love with a teacher, and her and the teacher started dating for, a hot second. And then they finally did a little spinoff too, where they all went to Hawaii and got jobs. I think it was Hawaii. I'm pretty sure it was Hawaii. And then they did a final episode where Kelly and Zach, if I'm not mistaken,
got married.
They got married. And then thank you, Jimmy Fallon, for bringing everybody back except for Screech, who'd unfortunately passed at that point. And
the Max was their hangout spot.
The Max. Jesse's dad, wedding, etc. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. I mean, again, the fun stuff that we could sit down and watch, it, whether it be with, the whole family, or, you and your friends, me and my brothers, me and my stepbrothers and sister. And I mean, just all of us. I mean, that was some good stuff. That was, Robin, since you're popping in here now, Shannon couldn't, Cat can't. Give us something today that you could sit down and watch, family-wise. Not and not going back to, like, me. I got Paramount. I've got, we now have Peacock. We have Amazon Prime. We've got HBO Max. We've got all these just because I got Paramount because of all the older stuff that was on there. We got Hulu. Name something today that has like that type of stay power outside of anything adult. We've already talked about Sons of Anarchy.
American Idol.
Okay, then you could say The Masked Singer.
The Rookie.
The Voice. We got into that for a while. That was kind of fun. They did try and do, like, I think LL Cool J did Lip Sync Battle. And I can't remember, I think Method Man tried to do something where it was battle raps, where they had like Boys to Men taking on Rascal Flatts. And the crowd had to pick who they thought was the better battle rapper. It was, those are fun. What, maybe Mr. Beast? He's got the Beast games. Outside of that, I mean, like I said, me and Kaylin will sit down and we'll still watch Let's Make a Deal and Price is Right, but it's just
I'm
I don't know. I'm
Will
nostalgic
Trent.
like that. I
Will Trent, High Potential, NCIS.
so
Origins is back on tonight.
so let me ask you this. With all, obviously they did a reboot on Hawaii Five-0. They did a reboot on Knight Rider and Magnum PI. I think at one point they were trying to reboot Baywatch, which was there drama? Yeah, but come on, let's call that what it was. They based that whole show on the sex appeal.
Hollywood Squares.
You used to sit down and watch that with, oh man, I loved Hollywood Squares.
The Muppet Show.
They're bringing back the Muppet Show. The problem is, I mean,
Abbott Elementary.
Obviously there is no such thing as Saturday morning cartoons anymore. Trust me, I've gotten up enough. I tried to get them into Jack Hanna. He was doing an animal show in the morning. MASH ran for 11 years.
We already talked about MASH, Mom. I said that was one of our things we always watched together.
I loved MASH. I really did,
I'm sitting here literally looking at a TV guide right now, and literally there is
Nothing family.
nothing family. Well, if you go to like PBS and Disney but there's really nothing.
I can agree with that, Robin. The Once Upon a Time I did try and get into because it wasn't, they took more the grim fairy tales, like there was Rapunzel, Rumpelstiltskin. Basically, they took Shrek and they made it live action, minus the ogre. That I did like. Honestly, with when you think about it, like whether it be television or it be movies, look at all the reboots. What are they rebooting? You don't see them rebooting anything from the 70s or the 60s. You don't see very many reboots of the 90s. Everything's from the 80s. And what drives me nuts about all these reboots is they're trying to make them more today. You know what I mean? They're trying to make them, they're trying to keep up with today's culture. And I've said this a million times. It's not broke, don't fix it. You might be surprised. Now, I will say they did try to bring back Boy Meets World. And I think didn't they call it Girl Meets World? Where Topanga and who's the Fred Savage character? Either way, they got married, they have kids. Mr. Feely, honestly, I hate the fact that he's passed on. But I didn't think it was all that bad. But yeah, now to sit down and watch a good, something family-wise, chances are it's going to be on Disney.
Girl Meets World.
Even
it
that
focuses on Corey and Topanga's daughter.
Corey, thank you.
And it ended in 2017.
Yeah, it was short-lived.
14 to 17. So,
it was very
there's
short-lived.
There really isn't anything now. I literally just went through a TV guide, and it's there's nothing. But again,
Yeah, I mean, do you say we're doomed? No, I don't think we're doomed, but holy shit, yeah, we're rocking that. We're almost. How long has it been since we've done a 2-hour show? And we still got a whole nother one because we did promise everybody we were going to be back. Damn it. So guys, keep your eyes out. because tomorrow might be a debut. Her and I will discuss it off camera. We might just go ahead and pull the trigger on it and say, let's run it. Now, we don't have to do the second half, but let's do the first half. And I think if we start that, maybe some of these messages I got out, especially if I tag people, might help us. But on that note, Robin, I appreciate you popping in, beautiful. It's been too long. Me and Sarah were literally just talking about you last night. Miss you, girl.
Yeah, well, she needs to come see me. She knows why.
Oh, boy.
So, all right.
Tis good, tis good. But I want to thank Miss Sheila for popping in. Robin, Shannon, love you, gorgeous. Blue, everybody. Bobby Ryder stuck around for a second. Guys, we could literally go 3-4 hours, but sometimes, hey, we do say it a lot on here, less is best. So if you're going to be on, if you're on TikTok, yes, we are going to go ahead and pull the trigger on that one. We'll see how it runs. I had my very first battle last night. But make sure you're liking, subscribe, you're sharing, we need to get the Facebook built back up. And yes, the Another Shot page. So please, guys, if you like what you hear and you're really enjoying it, follow us on Another Shot Facebook page. Make sure you check us out. We're on Instagram, we're on X, we're on TikTok, we're on, all of them. We do have a Spotify. So yes, TikTok, we are 7 away from 1,000. We are still over 700 away on Facebook. Guys, come on. A lot of us have like 600-700 people that are, we're friends with. Man, get it out there. Let's start sharing it. So back to my final shot though. Guys, like I said, sometimes you do have to put down the phone. I was just thinking about this the other day when I was walking through Walmart. I was actually walking with Kaylin and looking at all the different games. And one of the things that kind of sparked me to think of this stuff was just the other day, I was playing one of my games on my phone, yes. And an advertisement came up for Monopoly on the phone. Well, okay, if we don't want to get the board game out, maybe that's a way to go. Hell, I used to sit down playing Mario Kart with my mom and dad, and brothers, and, find something to do. I mean, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid, just get together for a dinner, something, guys, family time, friends time. We need to bring back the social free anytime tomorrow. Oh, that was a question. But guys, I mean, we've lost the art of conversation. We've lost the art of just sitting down and, hanging out just to hang out. It's like I've said here, we don't always have, people that come over here. A lot of you think that, the only place we hang out is out here. No, I'm just as happy sitting inside, bullshitting with everybody, maybe watching a movie and all laughing and joking, having a, whatever happened to getting together for a dinner? Jesus God, when was the last time you did that? You went over to a friend's house just to have dinner together and laugh and joke and whatnot. Yeah, see, the look on your face tells me, is that such a thing?
It is. I just don't do it.
Exactly.
I don't have any friends.
Okay, so you would say that, and then look at the message she just sent. Wow. Well,
I personally will be at Bill's place of work at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then I guess I will be at the studio tomorrow night.
Oh.
After I drop Riley off at work.
We will. So, do we want to go ahead and announce it now? Sounds like you're game for it.
Well, no,
Why the
we
fuck
we
not?
said we were going to work, but one way or another, I'll be here.
It's either gonna be live or fixing the bar, finishing it
One
up.
of the two.
One of the two. We'll get it going, guys. But yeah, I mean, guys, like I said, we've lost the art. It was a fun thing. People used to get together for dinner. Hey, I'm going over to a friend's house. The kids can play. The adults sit down and talk at the dinner table. Or you all sit down and Robin, you came over the other night and we started Californication. You were loving it, and we got 3 episodes in. You went home, and when have you been back? Stuff like that.
He's been a little busy.
Sure. With work, I'm sure. So, guys, I mean, find that free time, have that fun time. Reach out to a friend, reach out to family, guys. I mean, just take that time and let everything else disappear. Just have fun. That doesn't mean sit down and talk about politics and all the bullshit going on. Sit down and enjoy each other's company. Laugh, joke, pick on each other. You see how me and Kat get along on here. She'll dish out, every now and then she'll nail me with one. We have fun, guys. I mean, that's one of the things I always try and promote on here. Just everybody sit down, have a good time. And no, if you come over, that doesn't mean we're gonna come out and sit in the bar the whole night. That's for Saturdays. And apparently Wednesday nights. I don't think we have anybody coming over Wednesday, so you're safe this time. All of us are safe. I'd like just one time to be able to leave after a Wednesday night. Okay, no problem. I'll text you tomorrow then. Yes, Phil. Californication, great show. Not fairly oriented. This is me. So obviously the point is lost. Do you have a last shot, beautiful?
Making a point that I'm not reading anything.
I'm not, well, go ahead.
Sitting here just the last 2 nights last night going over movies from my childhood, tonight going over TV shows or movies, and or music from my childhood. It's wonderful to think about the positives in my past and to think of the different things that I did growing up as a family that meant so much to me and still means so much to me, and thinking of everything that I do now with my children as a family. It is completely different. Our lives back then and now do mainly all electronic, this or that. It's even from when I think of when my kids were smaller to now. We used to have, I instilled, it was a family game night, plain and simple. One night a week, we sat down and we played games, whether it be on the electronic as a game, as a family. We had bowling. We had different kinds of games that we would do. But none. My mother, if she's still watching, she can attest that playing any kind of games with my 3 children is very, very difficult. to say sibling rivalry or arguing is an understatement. It literally turns into a complete total brawl at our house if we try to do this. So it's few and far between, but I still make time to do those special things, whether it be once a week or once a month. So I just say to our listening viewers, don't forget to stop and smell the roses.
Yes. Yes.
Enjoy that 10 minutes car ride to take your son to work in the morning when you're falling asleep because you're so tired. That 5-10 minutes that you have to just talk and be with that person, remember that time and make it that special time. Remember to tell your loved ones, whether you're a friend or a family member, whether you're going to see them in 20 minutes or not, remember to tell them that you love them. And remember to smile. You may not feel the greatest. You may feel like you're dog tired and the world is just crumbling around you, but your smile can make that much of a difference in somebody else's day. So remember to smile and tell everyone you love them.
I think, Kat, it might be time. You and Sarah, I'll join you guys. I don't know, 3 people in a kitchen. It's fun. Maybe there might be a dinner in the near future, just sitting down and bullshitting, having some fun, picking on each other and talking about stuff off camera.
I would not be opposed to that.
I'm game for it. Love it. And yes, Robin, the invite goes out to you too, social brat.
Yeah, Robin.
So on that note,
And Shannon.
and
Sheila.
Shannon and Ray, I know you're
And
still
Blue.
sitting there. Shannon's still watching, but you know, on a side note, this is where this all comes into play. We actually have a person at work. Him and I have been talking. We've been trying to make it at least a once a month thing where all of us get together and go and enjoy a meal, where we're talking about going to Golden Corral here in the near future and then jumping over to the record store and just screwing around, or going to Ross Park Mall. I took, Dan past it the other day. I can't say it enough, guys. Bring it back. Bring it back. We don't do it enough anymore. People just hanging out just to hang out. It worked back then. There's no reason why it can't work now. So at the end of the day, like she said, smile, stop, smell the roses, invite a friend over, invite a couple friends over, do a family get together. There's way too much out there. Guys, if you're on TikTok, we're heading there next. No, I did the same thing. As soon as I said, I'm like, make sure you check us out Wednesday night for our Wednesday night open bar, Thursday Thoughts and Shots, our Sunday night weekend hangover. And we will definitely keep you posted. Very soon, we are coming up with a name. We might figure it out tonight. Who knows? But yes, Tuesday nights. We got Trina's Trivia coming back. But we also have a movie night. And we've got a lot of stuff in the works. So, guys, looking forward to talking to you again. Thank you, Shannon, Robin, Bobby, Blue, everybody. Everything we say on this show is just our opinion. But then again,
it could just be the alcohol talking.
130 is so much fun. Guys, you have a good night. We will see you very soon. Cheers.
Thank you for stopping in and listening to the Another Shot podcast. We shared some drinks, stories, and laughs. But it's time to say goodnight. Join us next time on Another Shot podcast.
If you're looking for a party, then man, have you found it? Now the shot is coming raw and unbounded. The whiskey's always talking and the beer's overflowing. Now the shot is gonna hit you with the mind overloaded. The bar is always open, but no inhibitions. Another shot will leave your sensories twitching. Just remember, everything we say is just our opinion.